Hi, everybody. My name is Asaf. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Iguazio. And today with me, I have Dan Meehan from PadSquad. Dan.
Hey, Asaf. Hello, everybody. My name is Daniel Meehan. I'm founder and CEO of PadSquad, and we're a creative technology and media company. Excited to talk to you today.
Thanks, Dan. And today, our topic will be predicting ad performance in real time based on multivariant data. I mean, this is how we can change with data science the whole space of tech ad by making it more adaptive to real-time events. And this is the joint collaboration of Iguazio and PadSquad that led to this. And today we'll be happy to share more details about it. A few words about Iguazio. Iguazio is a company focusing on a data science platform that we provide to customers across cloud and on-prem environments. We've been around now for 5 years and deployed globally, large and small customers across the entire world. As you can see here, some customers in different spaces here in the examples: NetApp, Samsung, Payoneer in the payment space, PadSquad that we'll be talking here about today, Quotient, Ecolab, and we've been getting some great recognition over the past few years. And with that, let's talk about the problem that we're solving. Everybody's talking about AI. I mean, it's been a hype trend that has been around now for a couple of years, and a lot of investments that are coming into companies that are focusing on AI, and companies, enterprises that are trying to change their business. I think it's pretty clear that with AI, companies can really change the day-to-day business that they're delivering to their customers. And there's a huge disconnect that not a lot of people are aware of, and this is the focus of Iguazio. When people start their AI journey, they're building their research environment where they're playing with the data, exploring the data, coming up with innovative ideas and building models. We see companies that in the research are really innovating and thinking all the way through how with AI they can change their business processes. The thing is that in the research environment, there's a very big difference in the way people are getting their data, the way people have scaling needs compared to their production environments. The production environment eventually needs to be built is very, very different when it comes to the data sources, the data ingestion, how you bring the data into those machine learning pipelines, how you need to scale the running of those machine learning models, and the way you feed those models with the data, the real-time preparation of the data as you feed it into the model. This is where people get stuck. This is where we see many projects that were pretty successful in the lab that eventually failed or were late in an unproportional way. And Iguazio is changing that. Iguazio is changing that using our platform that is an end-to-end data science platform that allows you from the moment you ingest the data, and typically people want to ingest data from multiple sources to cross-correlate, to enrich the data from those multiple sources, whether they're real-time, historical, combine them together, and then feed the models and bring those models to life. And it doesn't end there, because running a model one by one doesn't make sense for many enterprises. You need to serve it at the scale that addresses your consumers or your parallel workload that you need to run. So it has to run at scale to address your business needs, and then attach the actions on the other end. And with that, I have the pleasure to introduce Dan again. And it's always better to tell your story through a success of one of your customers. And we engaged with PadSquad earlier this year. And now we're happy to say that PadSquad is running on Iguazio and have changed the way it's doing business. Dan.
Yeah, thanks, Asaf. First, let me just set the stage and tell you a little bit about PadSquad. We've been in business for about 7 years, based in the U.S. with offices in New York and Chicago. And really what we focus on is changing how brands and marketers are creating unique ad experiences. And so, as many of the listeners probably understand, over the last few years, there's been an explosion of different ways in the media industry and how marketers and advertisers can talk to consumers to sell services and products. And really what PadSquad does is focus on that moment in time when your message meets that consumer. So what we've done is built a framework using technology and tools to bring very unique ad messages from our brand clients to consumers. So we are really kind of trying to blend art and science here. What we've created is, and what we take is assets from big brands like Intel and Disney, Verizon, Purina, Kellogg's, to name a few, and we transform them into digital ad experiences that run on mobile websites, mobile apps, connected TV, desktop websites, to really try to make ad experiences perform for our clients. And what the technology does has been mostly focused on is the canvas for creativity, being able to bring these messages to life. But what we've now started to work on with Iguazio's help is understanding the vast amounts of data that is thrown off from what we do. And we're going to dive into that over the next couple of slides here. And as I mentioned, in the last probably 12 to 18 months, PadSquad is really, even being a little bit late to the game in media and advertising, understood that data and intelligence can really drive performance for our marketers. And when we talk about data and we talk about using technology like artificial intelligence and machine learning, we're really specifically talking about understanding all of the different aspects that can affect a successful campaign for a marketer. So some of the things you can see on the slide here, and I'll walk you through it. Many aspects of what a marketer looks at is focused on the environment in which their advertising message is played. And so by using Iguazio's artificial intelligence, what PadSquad's able to do is understand all of the data points that affect that environment. And so very specifically, we're talking about the kind of mobile app that we're serving an ad in, or the kind of publisher that we're serving an ad in within a browser, understanding what time of day that ad is being served, what kind of content is being read by the user, understanding how that user is actually performing on a web page. Are they scrolling very quickly and just sliding through content, almost like a social feed? Or are they actually slowly reading content and really very much engaged on? All of those aspects allow our teams to deliver these very unique ad experiences in the most receptive audiences. And so that's what we look at from a digital creative performance perspective. But then once we have decided what the best environment is for an ad experience, there are many, many data points that are happening within the actual ad experience itself. One of the specialties of our team at PadSquad is working with these brands to make ad experiences very unique, using sight and sound and motion. On mobile, you can actually use the device technology and allow the consumer to interact with an ad just by tilting the phone or playing with a game. There's a lot of swipe actions, there's video, there's a lot of things going on. And before using artificial intelligence through Iguazio, our team was looking through those data points in a very manual process that wasn't very effective. And so now what we've done is been able to dramatically expand the amount of data points that we're looking at, and also aggregate all of that data using artificial intelligence in the cloud to export very actionable information through a graphical user interface. And so now our team has access to huge amounts of data that's very actionable and is understanding the environment the ad experiences are running in, in much more granular detail and how it affects the ads, and what's happening within the actual ad experience itself and how that affects performance for our clients. And we'll show you some examples of that in the coming slides. Let's talk about data. I've kind of talked a little bit around it, but what we wanted to do is show you here all the different kinds of data. So on your left side, we're looking at media style of data. Moving left to right, you have our first-party data. This is all the data that PadSquad is collecting from our ad tag that runs digitally. It looks at all the performance metrics that we deem very important to deliver our clients' messaging to. We also have third-party data, and in our case, that's made up of our clients' audience segments, where they may be using technology to ship us their customer data sets non-personal ways through their CRM, and maybe targeting messages to their current customers, but also changing messages to attract new customers at the top of the funnel. And that can all now very easily be done in the cloud. We're also looking at third-party data vendors that are very ubiquitous in the media industry. Companies like Oracle, who are tracking what happens with different vendors on behalf of marketers across many, many different campaigns and many, many different vendors. As somebody who works in the digital advertising industry, you probably are familiar with Oracle and Moat and Double Verify and IES. These are all companies that are providing services to marketers. The vendors like PadSquad have to have access to their data. And then on the supply side, like we've talked about before, we're looking at publisher data. What is the app developer's name? What kind of app experience is happening on the phone? When it comes to the content, who is the publisher? What's the domain? What kind of content is being delivered? All of that information is now available to us in the cloud using artificial intelligence. And then on the creative side, the right side of the screen, we're looking at all of the different elements that happen within an ad container. That's the sight, sound, and motion that is getting the consumer's attention. So if a video is involved, how much of that video was watched, and how do we make the consumers watch more video? We have custom events that are thrown off every time a user interacts with an ad experience. Are they swiping through different product carousels? They are. How many products did they view? Did they hover on one carousel or one product more than another? Should we switch the sequence of products in that carousel, maybe in real time, to garner better performance? Can we hotspot engagements, have people track products within a larger environment? And of course, all of the actions that marketers care about. Did somebody engage with the ad? Did they click on it to go to another page in another environment? And we can also dynamically change messages based on things like weather and other triggers. So based on location or the weather, that can trigger automatic different messaging for our clients. And now that's all also available in the cloud using artificial intelligence for our team. So it really is the game changer for media and advertising company. So let's look at an actual campaign and talk a little bit about how our team is using this data. So what we've done is work with Iguazio to aggregate all of these different data points that we've talked about into a homegrown solution that we call a Simpli Analytics. So Simpli is a tool set, a stack, so to speak, that PadSquad uses to take media assets from our clients, transform them into very unique digital ad experiences, and then make them ready to be deployed across all the different platforms that help us reach consumers. And what we've done with the Iguazio is take all of these exploding amounts of data that we barely had access to previously manually, and now we've aggregated that in the cloud. We're running configurations against it to crunch those numbers and understand what are key metrics for our team and our clients in real time. And then we're exporting that data into very usable and very actionable graphs that we can then share with our clients in real time, or our team is actually using on an hourly, daily, weekly basis to make those campaigns perform for our clients. And you can see this on your right-hand side as an example. These are campaign snapshots. These are very detailed creative analytics that look at what messaging, what sight, sounds, and motions are the most important for the consumers, and very much detailed custom insights. How much awareness time in total is a campaign providing? When audiences are engaged, what time of day for different messages, and also testing out different messages against different audiences and different timestamps. And we'll show you some examples on the next couple of slides. So here's a great example from a direct-to-consumer brand that's very digitally savvy called Allbirds. And in this case, they were working with our team here at PadSquad to introduce a new line of running shoes. And they wanted to do that by creating these very high impact, engaging ad units that were going to run across mobile audiences. So like we typically will do, we took data sets from the client and we merged those with third-party data sets that are available. So we're looking at audience segments from Allbirds clients and non-Allbirds clients. We're looking at audience segments by age and by demographic and by gender, contextual and keyword lists to even more granularly reach different kinds of audiences. And then we have all these creative elements. As you can see in the examples, we have products that are featured in the ad that are hotspotted, where users can tap on them and experience more information about that product. In this case, you can actually swipe and be directed to an e-commerce mini site from Allbirds. And we have all of these different engagement opportunities for the user within the ad container itself. And so we want to track all of that in real time and understand what's happening so we can optimize for maximal performance. If we look at the next slide, you'll see some examples of that data that we throw off. On the left-hand side, you see an example of a graph on all the different data points that we're looking at within the creative itself. And so opening up that type of product hotspot that was featured, did people look at a different hotspot showing the feature of that product? Were they swiping through anything unique? And this is just one example of one frame of many, many different ad experiences throwing off 6 different data points that is then also added to the time of day, the day of the week, the kind of content this was served to, the kind of audience segment this was served to. And you can see how this data really does explode on a campaign by campaign basis. And then what we're doing is behind the scenes using Iguazio's AI cloud-based technology is we're aggregating this into very digestible and actionable insights for our team. And then we're able to create reporting and graphs so that we can communicate it back to the Allbirds clients. So we'll actually go to them and show them this data visually, like you're seeing it here, so that they can understand exactly what's happening on their campaign and exactly how we've optimized it by day of week and type of content and type of audience to deliver the best audience and the best experience at the right time for their campaign. So if we move on, we can also look at, on this next slide, some of the technology that runs behind the scenes that allows us to do all this very unique and creative stuff. Asaf?
Sure. So the beauty of it is we've worked with PadSquad and trained them on how to build the right pipeline of functionality across the end-to-end application that they've built. And the first part on the left is the ability to ingest the data from all these sources that Dan just mentioned, and not just bring them in, but also to cross-correlate. This is where we're talking about real-time analytics of different data types that come in at different rates, whether some of the data is streaming, some of the data is sitting in databases that are historical. And this is where the magic starts. This is where data enrichment happens as those data sets are being fed into the models. And at the end of the day, as Dan was indicating, having the ability to create these dashboards in real time as the campaigns are active is very different than what PadSquad was doing before, where they were analyzing the result at the end of the campaign. Here, as the campaign is running, you have those real-time dashboards and things are being adjusted in the campaign as it moves. This is a huge benefit in the space. The other part is the ability to have the predictions here. We're talking about not just about analyzing what's happening, but what's going to happen. And this is where machine learning is at its best.
Yeah, I agree, Asaf. If I could jump in, I think one of the unique benefits of a company like PadSquad being able to leverage Iguazio's solution is that the fact is we're and many media and advertising companies are in this space. We use technology very often, and we use lots of technology tools. But at the end of the day, our core competency is something different. You know, in media and advertising, you might be more focused on a content core competency. In our instance, we're a very creative company, and that's our specialty, blending art and science. And what Iguazio allows a company like PadSquad to do is understand the importance of the data, but be able to get a world-class artificial intelligence and machine learning solution without having that be your core competency. And that was very important to us, and I think has really changed how we're able to perform for our clients.
Yeah, and also important to mention here that this is a production pipeline that is running 24/7 and is all parallelized. So once you have high loads on the platform, things are happening parallel, whether it's on the data ingestion, whether it's on the actual running of the models and the dashboards. All of that is addressing the loads that are changing during the day. All of it is running as an end-to-end pipeline within the PadSquad VPC in Amazon. Also important for many customers that you don't need to have your special sauce and your unique data sent out of your own cloud account. It's all running. Iguazio is deployed here as a service within the PadSquad Amazon VPC. And with that, I know we're running out of time, but at Iguazio, we're serving, this is a great example in one vertical market, but we've been serving customers across different verticals in financial services, in manufacturing, retail, telcos, and on the logistics side. Would love to work with you and apply this kind of a platform that brings your data science to life. Data science is not meant to stay in the lab or in research environments. We're talking about bringing an impact to the business, and that's what Iguazio is all about. Dan, you're hiring, right?
We are indeed, yes. Now that Iguazio has gotten us so quickly up to speed in data science, we actually do have data engineering and analytics engineering open headcounts now. If you can go to padsquad.com and check it out. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. It was a pleasure. Thank you, everybody.